I told you a story of mythological levels, a story that defied everything you thought about your beloved Ben Affleck. I told you a story, indeed, of a movie so shitty that it would possibly make you hate the Affleck. Which you said it's impossible. I can't hate.
Can't hate the F.
But after having told you this for so long, you decided we're gonna watch this thing. You paid for it, homie.
Dude, I rented it!
Rented Surviving Christmas, and the question of the hour was, could you survive Christmas? Because I barely did. I saw this thing in prison, and it was worse than being in prison, man. Like, I literally was like, I'm just going to go back to my bunk. Fuck this shit. That sucks balls. Unfortunately, I didn't, because I was watching something so cosmically awful that I couldn't peel my eyes off of it, man. So Surviving Christmas, man, it's a Christmas time story, obviously, with Ben Affleck at the peak, or, peak's not really the right word, but at the peak of his awful, everybody hates him era.
Yeah.
You know, he'd just come fresh off of Gigli. I think Daredevil was either done or about to be done. This is a movie so fucking terrible, so abhorrent, that even the studio said, we can't release this before they were about to release Paycheck, which was a big budget John Woo movie. They were like, this thing was starring Ben Affleck.
With the F.
Yeah, this thing's going to make some money, I hope, right? They were hoping. We can't release Surviving Christmas. Yeah. So two different studios worked in conjunction with each other to delay the release of Surviving Christmas.
For a whole year.
For a fucking year.
And then, when the next year came, they didn't even release it on Christmas.
Yeah,
they released it on October because it's horrifying.
Yes. The most appropriate Halloween movie it is.
God damn, homie.
Surviving Christmas is a literal fart of a movie. It smelled for a second, and then... that everybody chose to forget it.
Ignore it.
Man, I'm pretty sure they used it as torture when they showed it in prison. Yeah. I don't think any network would willingly fucking make anybody watch that. No, but
maybe Fox in the 90s.
Oh, that's true, man. It's pretty bad.
Ricky.
It's not as bad as NBC, though.
Maybe
but anyway,
NBC
the point
nowadays.
Is... Yeah, no shit. Anyway, fucking Surviving Christmas, man. It's about a douchebag marketing advertising guy that's apparently infinitesimally rich and very superficial and selfish, and he gets, his significant other is like kind of bothered by that. And they later paint her kind of as a bad guy. But you're like, she just wanted him to have a family and a social life, so she's not really bad. But anyway, whatever. She wants something more out of this superficial ass jerk. And then the movie, this is the first 15 minutes maybe. The movie then 180s and makes it about him craving company during Christmas. And you're like, wasn't he a jerk?
There's so many 180s in this movie.
Yeah, it's super 180s.
By the end of the movie, you're like, I don't even know how we got here.
Exactly.
Really, by the first 20 minutes, you don't know how you got there.
Yeah, and then you realize you got fucking over an hour to go and you want to scream in terror like we did, literally, when we realized we have more to go. But anyway, yeah, man, all of a sudden it's a movie about him craving fucking company in Christmas. So what does he do? And I shit you not, this is not a satire, this is not some exaggerated movie, or it's not intended to be this super exaggerated, over the top fucking movie. He literally buys a family for Christmas. He pays this apathetic, low-income family to be his family for Christmas. And hijinks ensue. By the end, it 180s again and turns into this thing where he's like the male equivalent of the manic pixie, fixing our other lives with his erratic behavior. And then it 180s again by the ass end and becomes this rom-com, oh, you saved the day type of thing. I love you now scenario. This is a fucking movie we saw.
There are so many setups and payoffs that don't pay off in this movie. I feel like the whole movie is a failed setup.
Yeah.
You think it's going somewhere, and then it just 180s on you, and you're like, this makes no sense. Just go with the sensical route, you fool.
And forget the long setups, which, by the way, are all based on cliches, so already they don't pay off. Not in the generic way or in the elaborate way. They just sputter
Yes.
like a fucking flaccid penis would. Hashtag floppy ding. They just fucking like, you know, just like an old man dying, you know, an old black man no less.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
In case you're wondering why we said that, well, this movie resembles the plot of It's Always Sunny in, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode, which of course they have old black man as a character,
old black man.
But
Classic.
only without all the humor and satire.
Yeah.
If this was, we were sitting there going, wow, this could easily be changed into a Sunny episode.
Yeah.
And it would be hilarious. But that's the problem with this movie. I get the feeling that at one point this movie was supposed to be a fucking dark comedy because the blueprint is there, but they never get mean-spirited or they never go far enough for it to be that. So it just becomes nothing. Yeah. Nothing. It's neither a good Christmas movie or a good black comedy. It's a fucking phallus up your fucking cornhole, man.
It doesn't make sense either because for a while it seems like you're supposed to dislike Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm. But then you realize you're supposed to like him.
You realize he's like the hero and he's fixing everybody's lives, despite the fact that up to this point he's literally been, like you said, a flaccid up your a phallus up your cornhole or whatever.
Something like that.
It's something like that. It's a freaking Russian torpedo up your ass. It's like, come on, man.
And that Russian torpedo was not allowed to melt slightly, so there's no loop. I'm telling you, man, this fucking this movie, I can't even call it a movie because it seems just like moments.
Yeah.
And by the way, we watched 30 minutes of this movie and it literally felt like we'd watched an hour-long movie, not because it sucks and it's horrible to watch, but because the events that would normally happen within an hour in a movie happen within 30 minutes.
Yes, exactly.
And they do this throughout the whole movie. Instead of naturally letting things happen, they're like, oh, by the way, guys, this is happening now. Accept it. Oh, she loves him now. That's just the thing that happened. Accept it. What makes that even worse is that there is, as you pointed out, absolutely no fucking sense of time in this movie.
Dude, I don't understand.
I don't know how many days he was with this family he bought.
There's small shit like suddenly a character's hair will be completely different, and I'm not talking about the character gets a makeover. No, another character just suddenly has short hair.
Yeah,
and you're like, how in one day?
And there's this family that comes and visits his fake family.
Oh,
the family of his girlfriend, if you will. And there's a point in the movie where they leave.
Yes.
And then all this, they leave at nighttime, okay, on Christmas Day. Then they leave, and you know, there's a big hullabaloo at the house. Ben Affleck ends up being kicked out of his fake family's home. He goes back home. He sulks. He gets a visit from his fake dad. There's a whole moment. They have a moment. He goes and they see a fucking play, and it's like you feel like days pass.
Yeah, like weeks.
Weeks maybe, yeah. But then the very same family that left in a huff drives by the area where this play is happening and sees Ben, and then you realize all this shit somehow just happened in one night.
Somehow Ben left this area, sulked, and that family that left in a hurry is still in the town somehow.
Yes, somehow driving in a time loop.
Apparently.
And that's exactly what this movie feels like, an interminable time loop, man. They also like try to manufacture the feeling of a Christmas movie by literally giving
there's so much Vaseline.
Yeah, like a blurry, not blurry, that kind of like weird fuzzy faux warmth Vaseline lens that some Christmas movies have. They do that throughout this movie and you're like, that's fake.
Yeah.
And faker than that, Ben Affleck's happiness.
Dude, this guy clearly was about to hang himself.
Oh yeah.
In the corner.
Now, granted, the character is supposed to be kind of like, kind of fooling himself. Eventually, you find out he's kind of like fooling himself because of his past experiences, which, by the way, does nothing to salvage anything you saw.
It actually seems kind of nice, that past experience.
Yes, compared to your experience watching the fucking movie. Yeah. But yeah, man, there's no... Where was I going with this?
The Vaseline.
Oh, yeah. His joy is what it was. Yeah. His joy... as a character is so manufactured, and since you don't know that
Yes.
apparent part of his fucking character that pops out of nowhere at the ass end, you're just like, what is this? And then couple that with the fact that you as a viewer, especially you're an Affleck guy like you, know that he was in a horrible, depressive moment of his life. It just feels like this guy is on the verge of suicide,
dude,
and slapping on a fucking horrendous smile. Look, I love Affleck, but his smile's hideous, and he should never smile. And he was the bomb in Phantoms, but that's not the point. The point is he should never smile. It's gross, and and he just
it's gross.
Look, man, the worst. Let's be honest here. As awful as this movie is, as bereft of humor and competence as it is, the worst thing in this movie is Ben Affleck. Ben,
because weirdly enough, and don't crucify me for saying this, I actually kind of like the dad. You know, the dad character.
Gandolfini. But James Gandolfini's in this.
Yeah, dude. I like the mom character. You know, I like all the kind of side characters, even though they have moments that make zero sense, and the movie they're in is pure shit on a freaking underwear that I give to someone as a gift, and they're like, "Damn, homie, why's there feast on this underwear?" I'm like, "Because I wore it."
Yep. It wasn't even malicious. You just wore it.
I just wore it, dude. But I kind of like they're likable characters. You know, likable people. Not characters, but the people who play them are likable.
Yeah.
But Affleck is like this got to be the worst casting in freaking Hollywood history, dude.
Yeah,
like why would you pick this person? This seems like a Ben Stiller role, or some like annoying guy like that you can eventually end up liking, you know. But this guy's just like, what is this guy?
Yeah. As we were watching the movie, aside from pointing out that it would, if written by the Sunny guys and gals, it would make a great It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode. We also pointed out that it would be a good movie for Danny DeVito to direct, or Ben Stiller to direct, because they make those kind of weird,
like
on the borderline of obnoxious movies that end up kind of growing on you, and they're kind of weird and mean-spirited and dark at times. Yeah, like Duplex is a good example. You know, that would be right up their alley. But the guy that directed this directed Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. So I already know it's in shit hands. Yeah. And he didn't wash them. Buy that shirt at our merch shop. Yeah. But, you know, it's incompetently directed, but you could see how like you said, the actors that they chose would have made this work. Gandolfini's a great actor, a rip. And he's possibly the best thing in this movie, because you could see if he would have been given the room to play with this cantankerous father figure, it would have been pretty funny.
Yeah.
Especially if he was playing off of anybody but Affleck.
Yeah.
And Catherine O'Hara, of course, is a classic comedian. You know, she's great. You know, and she's easily the second best thing in this movie. You know, and she's really the one that works best with the comedy that's afforded to her. It's not her fault this movie sucks massive donkey penis, but she does the best she can with it.
Yeah.
Christina Applegate, very likable person, very good with comedy, and she's flat as fuck in this movie because her character just sucks.
She's got to play off freaking Ben. She's the Ben love interest.
Ben is the black hole in this movie, man. He's just so fucking shit.
Several times in the movie, I was just like, why is he acting like this?
Yes.
Like, he's doing, like, this weird, like, kid voice.
Yeah, the high reedy voice.
Yeah, like, hey, guys, I'm Ben.
Shit.
I'm about to kill myself after this movie.
And the smiles, dude. He's got to stop smiling, which is kind of what he's doing right now. He's super depressed, but that's not the point.
Unfortunately, he's about to murk himself.
He should be able to be happy and not smile, is what I'm saying. Smile sucks. God, the hairdo. Anyway, Ben is to blame. He's
got like a kind of like a weird like square head in this movie. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it was
that forehead.
Early 2000s, you know, he had the spiked cut. It's not good. No. It's not good.
I mean, he's still a boy though, but damn, this movie stretched the limits of my boyness.
Yeah, dude. There's nothing about it that's notable other than it sucks. How often can you say that? The only thing notable about a movie is that it fucking sucks. And it's not enjoyable suck like The Room. It's just suck. It's not enraging suck. It's just, this sucks.
The only thing that's enraging is Affleck.
Yeah, dude, his character.
And unfortunately, the movie focuses a little too much on Affleck. If they had more time with the surrounding characters, it would be a little more tolerable. But Affleck is like the driving force in this movie, and he's annoying, and they know he's annoying.
And they harp on it.
But they keep going on with how annoying he is. Like there's no real turn on when he stops being annoying until they're like, "Ah, shit, we gotta stop making this character a piece of crap. So let's completely change the character that he has been for like at least an hour." And now he's like this likable dude.
Yes, one of those infamous 180s in this movie, man. And that's the most egregious one.
Yes,
because he's literally, like you said, been the pits to be around.
Everybody hates him,
and then suddenly, you have to accept that the family he bought's daughter is all in love with him, and that he's like this not only redeemable character, but super good with great intentions guy. Yeah. And then he's a fix-all character. You just have to accept it. No impetus for it. Yeah, it just is.
There's no real... And I think the only thing that would have been able to save... not really. But the only thing that could have been, like, forgivable and how shitty he was... If he had, like, a good reason to be this way during Christmas... But the reason he finally gives, you're like, that's not even that bad, homie. I was expecting you to be like diddled during Christmas or something. And again,
it comes as one of those 180 moments where you're expected to just accept that as the reason, and you're like, that's sucks. It. It doesn't make up for an hour and a half of watching this asshole suck balls.
Yes,
it sucks. It's not a movie that you're enraged watching. It's a movie you're enraged thinking about the fact that you watched the damn thing.
There's moments where, again, the time loops. This entire movie, there's massive time loops where you're like, what is happening? Yeah. And you're just like, why would you do that?
Now, like any good Christmas movie, or bad one in this case, there's usually some sort of heartwarming message in it. And by the end of this movie, you could see where they were going for it, but since it's in the worst hands possible, what they actually end up inadvertently, I hope, communicating is that you can buy happiness, and that the only way your shitty lives are going to get fixed is if some douchebag with tons of money throws money at you and the right circumstances happen.
Yeah.
But it can't be too everyone
much,
comes out on top.
It can't be too much money because hijinks ensue when there's too much money.
Oh yeah, of course.
It has to be the right amount of money.
By the way, the amount of money this Joker wastes is ridiculous. At the bare minimum, $350,000 he pays this family to be his fake family.
And that's without the stunts that he pays for.
Yeah, he pays for actors to come in and join in the hijinks
and Udo Kier's to make cameos.
Yeah, professional photographers, helicopters, all kinds of fucking shit. So this guy spent somehow over $500,000 for this. Where would this happen? Now, we've accepted stupid scenarios in other movies too, but there's no moment in time that they bothered to make these scenarios either so silly that you accept them or, reasonably feasible. It's just a thing that happens, and you're like, who does that? Who does any of this? Who accepts any of this?
Yes.
The answer is nobody. Nobody would, and you know that, and it sucks. Every second of this movie is like getting reamed with razor blades, man.
Oh, God, homie.
I hate it. I hate this movie, man. Anything else you got about it?
I feel like this is like one of the longest movies I've ever seen in my life. And it's only an hour and 30 minutes long.
Yeah, dude, when we said that we screamed in terror, this is not a joke. I've seen this movie before, and even I was shocked. Because I saw it in increments because it was...
You had breathing room.
Yeah. First of all, I was in prison, and it was on TV. So I was more worried about surviving the day than what I was watching, and it was broken up by, commercial breaks. Somehow that made it a little bit more palpable than this experience. This is the first time where the second experience has literally raped my asshole, watching it. Like, holy shit, man. It is a movie that I never want to see A to Z sitting down uninterrupted in my life ever again, much less just see it in general. It sucks.
I feel like though this movie feels like it's 500 hours long, I feel like somewhere in the vaults of DreamWorks, which is thankfully no more, there's like a 5-hour cut, dude, because of the weird leaps in time, or the bizarre like character changes that make absolutely no sense.
Imagine the outtakes to this fucking thing.
Yes. Someone must have sat there and been like, I have to make this a watchable piece of shit, and they failed.
This is
they
what
failed.
happened.
So imagine the freaking full version. Also, worthy to note, 4 people wrote this movie.
Yeah, and that's just look, man.
The screenplay.
That's just the screenplay credit.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you'll see one credit screenplay by, and it'll actually be like 5 people that worked on drafts, but one guy gets the credit because he wrote the most of it, or they kept most of his ideas. That's par of the course in fucking Hollywood. That's just how it goes. But this one actually managed to get 4 screenwriting credits up there. So imagine how many hands it went through, how many drafts, how many people actually wrote this thing,
dude.
And you can fucking tell it's all over, man. It's all over the map.
No sense, mate.
No sense. If we're gonna talk about the technical aspects, there's nothing to admire here.
No.
Looks like shit, sounds like shit, and
it starts off with this really annoying like music. Well, obviously the Christmas music playing, right?
Right.
But it's like this montage of, I guess, what was supposed to be hilarious Christmas endeavors, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was just confused as what it was for like a minute.
Well, I think the intention here was to show that, hey, this is gonna be.
Yeah.
That's why I'm telling you, somewhere along the way, somebody thought this was a black comedy, but then told no one that what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, so it just comes out of place.
Yeah, it just feels like a shitty joke.
Yeah.
Like, that was supposed to be funny. Wow, that's horrible. You know? Black comedy, this is not. It's just not.
No.
So, what is it?
Comedy, this is not.
Yeah, exactly. What is it? Not a comedy, that's for damn sure. It's fucking horror, man. That's why they released it in October, period.
It's the best freaking Halloween movie ever.
Dude, this is legitimate horror. Oh, yeah, getting back to that. We literally watched this movie, and I had to pause the movie because my dog yiped in pain somewhere.
She was probably listening in. She's like, oh, what's going on?
She was like, please stop or I'm going to kill myself. And so I had to check on the dog. But when I pressed pause, you know, the time bar came up and you started screaming. And I was like, what the fuck? And you go, it's only 30 minutes.
20.
Oh, yeah, 20.
It's only 20 minutes.
We had only seen it for 20 minutes, and it felt like forever, man.
At that 20 minutes, it had felt like 3 movies had ended. Like, just the freaking quest of the characters, the hijinks that had ensued. Not that there were good hijinks, but that you could tell that there were supposed to be hijinks.
Yeah.
There was enough there to be like, all right, this is going to end in like 2 minutes, right? 20 minutes in. It's like, oh my god, this is the longest movie ever!
And that's kind of like the biggest sin of this movie, besides Ben Affleck, which is clearly the ultimate sin. It's that it tells you when it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
And not one of those times is it funny. You could see how, especially like somebody that you're familiar with, like Catherine O'Hara, for example. You know her comedic timing. You could see how she could make these things funny. And by God, she tries, man.
Yeah.
There's even a moment that kind of made me smirk a little bit because it could have been funny.
Oh,
but yeah. The only thing, you're going to have to tell me yours. I did like one thing in this movie, like actually liked, and that's Udo Kier as a flamboyant photographer. I feel like a movie about that guy would have been way better than this piece of shit.
I'd watch that.
I'm also all for Udo getting a paycheck.
By the way, Udo gets like top billing in this turd, and he's like in it for like a second.
Total fucking cameo. I mean, is it really a cameo?
Nah, it's
he's
just
like
a
more
role,
of like
dude.
a horror icon than anything. Oh my god! It's a horror movie!
He knew, dude!
Dude, he got top billing! Holy shit, man.
Udo!
Well, I mean, Udo got paid, I guess.
True.
Oh, is there anything that you liked? Mine is, of course, a very tiny cameo that really... It could have not been in the movie, and the movie would have still sucked balls.
I like James Gandolfini. Like, I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like his character could have been really funny if it was in a good movie.
Yeah.
He even has some moments that are like mildly amusing. It's just that he has to literally play off a freaking melting turd.
Yeah, dude.
A former Russian torpedo.
Affleck, dude.
It's like, come on, homie. And I gotta admit that this was pretty funny.
Yeah. Catherine O'Hara, she's great.
And Udo.
Movie.
Stinky.
Magic Stinky Torpedoes. Anyway, look, man, this is the worst Christmas movie I've ever seen. We don't watch an inordinate amount of Christmas movies, but I mean, we do. At least I do. I know you have to. We have liked a few. Who doesn't like A Christmas Story? There's movies that are just classics of the season. This is the exact opposite of any movie that you think is a classic of Christmas. It's whatever is great about any. Doesn't matter what kind of Christmas movie you've ever seen. Take that and see it through Satan's butthole, and this is this movie. It's shit. I don't suggest anybody watch it because it's fucking torture. But if you want to, go ahead. Hopefully, our fucking hyperbolic descriptions of terror will make it better for you, because really, it's not. So if it does make it better for you, then we've done our job. But shit, man, it sucks. Let's grade this piece of crap.
0.
Absolute stinking 0, man. I'm gonna go -5 because it's a fucking violation of my anus. So this movie sucks, man. Major cocks. I hate it.
Yeah, I feel as an Affleck, this is probably the darkest moment. You know, people say Gigli was like the worst movies ever
No way.
made.
I'd rather watch Gigli.
I've never seen Gigli, but I can guarantee you that it's like a masterpiece compared to this mass turd.
Yeah. Gigli sucks. Hard cocks. But at least it's got, Christopher Walken in it, I guess.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's not like he ever was around for quality either, dude.
True.
Just kind of gets paid every now and
Yeah,
then.
he was in Country Bears and Kangaroo Jack.
And he was McBain.
Damn, homie.
Don't forget that.
That's true.
But anyway, let us know if you survived Christmas, and if you haven't, don't. The movie, I mean, not the holiday. Do survive the holiday. In the meantime, guys, hit like, share, subscribe, and those notification buttons, because we're out.
By the way, I just want to add real quick, we saw this a little bit before Halloween, so...
Yeah, very apropos. Not intended, but there you go.
No?